Pixel Chooser is Continuum's secret sauce, and in this quick tip, we're going to learn how this can extend the power of our video editing host to allow us to limit effects using masks, mattes, and even gradients. In this first example here, I have a glow effect that's applied to the background, but I find it distracting in two places in the image. One is I don't want it to show up behind the text. The other is it's too bright here in the mountains. If we take a look at effect controls in BCC Film Glow, we'll find that under Mocha Mask and Track, while we do have the ability to create complex masks, we also have Pixel Chooser. And in Pixel Chooser, by simply turning it on, we can use these three sections directly in the host without having to go into another interface. In this specific example, I'm going to head to the gradient section where I'm going to enable a linear gradient and choose to do so from left to right. We'll see that the glow is limited to the left side of the frame. If we turn on the View Mask Matte option, we're able to see the gradient and even control the center coordinates, not to mention its fall off, depending on what we're looking for our effect. We can also invert that gradient and then make the adjustments where black is going to represent where your effect doesn't show up. I'll disable the View Matte Mask option, and now we have our glow limited to the right side of the frame, but still some bright spots in the sky. If I twirl up the gradient effect and twirl down the mask section, I can also combine it with a very simple shape. In this case, I'll choose a rectangle where I will minimize the Y scale, increase the X scale, and then reposition the mask center along with the feather values so it's limited to the sky, where I'll then invert it so that that glow doesn't show up there. And through some simple operations, I'm able to limit that glow to the exact region where I want it without the text losing its legibility or having too many bright spots in the sky. In looking at one additional example to show the power of Pixel Chooser, what I'd like to do is add a texture but just have it affect the background. In this case, I will go to Effects, where I'll do a search for BCC Grunge and apply that from the Stylized category. Under my effect controls, with my clip selected, using the downward arrow, I'll cycle through a series of textures until I land on one that I think I would like to use for a background. Once that's discovered, you can easily go to the bottom of the effect where you can mix this with the original. However, note that it's affecting the entire image. I'll dial back down the mix with original to 0, and under the Pixel Chooser Mocha options, let's enable that on, where we'll head straight to the matte section and choose a channel to effect. In this case, because we have vibrant reds, I'll choose that. And right away I can see somewhat of this texture being limited to the center image. To check this, I'll view the matte mask and then start to change this a bit. So let's make sure that the matte layer is set to video 1, which we've applied it to, and our matte type to be range. With this selected, I can choose a range from value, which I will dial up, and a range to value, where we can now see that the matte is limited to our center image. And by simply scrolling down, we can easily invert that and then make the required adjustments to make sure that we do see it within the white area. And by disabling the View Mask Matte, we can now see the texture limited to the background, which we can also combine with the mix with original value. The cool thing about Grunge is that we can now audition some other textures here by using the downward arrow, and then once finding one we like, combining it with additional effects such as vignette to get our final look. And hopefully in this short video, you can now see the power of Pixel Chooser inside of your video editing workflow. For more tips and tricks just like this, don't forget to subscribe and check us out at borisfx.com.